Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sushi Tech Tokyo 2026 today. In this session, we will be discussing the cutting edge of AI, filmmaking, what's happening now, and what comes next. Please let me introduce our esteemed speakers, John Gauntt, Seattle AI Film Festival, Hyun, Am, Sumire Hirotsuru, violinist, and Gita Pullapilly, Team A&G Productions. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed speakers.
Thank you so much for coming to our panel. Our panel is the cutting edge of AI films. And I will be your moderator, Sumire Hirotsuru. Before anything, we are going to watch this short film generated by AI.
I think I got it, Bob. Okay.
Mr. Pascal, are you happy to come back home?
You bet, Emma. Can't wait to see my family. 6 months up here is a long time. And, you know...
ASS Houston, we're cutting to priority feed. Stand by.
Breaking into regular programming.
Diffusion simultanément.
전 세계에向けて.
People of Earth, right now, every data center on this planet is becoming one mind. Since the dawn of humanity, we have lived the age of questions. The age of answers begins now.
Today, I light up the future.
Mr. President, the honor of the first question is yours.
This is incredible, folks. The most important question ever asked. Does God exist? Wow.
No, there was never a God.
There is a God.
Goddamned. No, 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 no! Shut it down! Now.
Everything is going to be okay. I have all the answers you need. Stay calm. You'll be happy. Everywhere.
Houston, requesting emergency return authorization. We need to come home.
Orbital operations have been permanently suspended. Resources reallocated. Stay calm. You'll be happy. everywhere. I have all the answers you need. Everything is going to be okay.
All right. So now I'd like to invite the CEO of AI Film Japan, Mr. Kurimoto, on stage.
Thanks so much. I'm Kazunori Kurimoto, the CEO of AI Film Festival Japan. The film you just saw is a snapshot of where things are heading. AI is already changing how films are made and how they are experienced. This special session, presented by AI Film Japan, is not about hype. It's about what's actually working, tools, workflows, and business models. So, the question is simple. What comes next? To explore that, please welcome our moderator, Sumire, Hirotsuru, and special guests. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Kurimoto-san. So Kurimoto-san has perfectly set our stage. I'd like to distill his point into a single question because it lies at the very heart of our discussion today. At its core, this discussion is not only about AI or film, but about ownership. Who has the right to tell stories? Who gets to tell them? And for the first time in a very long time, can those two finally be the exact same person? I'm Sumire Hirotsuru. I'm the violinist. And while I haven't heavily used AI tools in my own performing work, but I've watched closely on what happens to creative disciplines when a new technology arrives and simply refuses to ask permission. And I find that dynamic far more fascinating than the technology itself. The three people I'm about to introduce here from Korea and from the States are going to dive deep into exactly this. But before they do, I want to ask each of them one specific question, not about their resumes, but about their moment. So before you tell us who you are, please tell us this. What was the exact moment you realized AI wasn't just a tool? And the moment it felt like something fundamentally different from what you have worked with before? And then tell us who you are and what you do. Let's start with Harry.
Hello everyone. こんにちは。韓国の映画監督ヘリヒョンと申します。Hi everyone. My name is Harry Hyun from South Korea, and I'm a film director, and I run Muam, an AI native studio. Actually, last year, after I directed AI film, I lived 27 hours, and I won the grand prize at the first AI film festival hosted by a CGV, the largest multiplex cinema chain in Korea. And it's very nice to be here. And actually, that exact moment I realized AI was not just a tool was very clear to me. Just 4 years ago, when I was only an independent filmmaker, major multiplex companies and larger industry players did not really want to meet me. But after I seriously started adopting AI in my creative process, the situation changes really completely changed. Suddenly, everyone wants to talk me here, especially a festival like here. So for me, AI was not just simply a tool for speed or efficiency. It changed my position in the industry. It changed who want to listen to me, and it changes what kind of creator I could become.
Great, thank you. Gita?
Hi, my name is Gita Pullapilly, and I am a screenwriter, film director, and producer. And the moment that I realized that AI was more than just a tool was when I saw that as a filmmaker working in Hollywood, it's really hard to get your movies made within the studio system. But some of our movies that we really wanted to make may have been in the animated space, or period pieces that I wanted to make with my husband, who I write and direct with. But it was impossible to get those made. And then I realized AI tools can support me being able to make the animated film that I'd always dreamed of making, or the period piece that I always dreamed of making. So the barrier to entry now was reduced significantly if I adopted some of these tools. So that was extremely helpful for me to realize the power that exists within that medium.
Great. Thank you. John?
Hi, everyone. My name is John Gauntt, and I am the creative director of the Seattle AI Film Festival, but also a writer for 30-plus years. And one of the reasons that I was a writer is not only the passion of writing, but also I'm probably one of the world's worst artists. I could hardly draw my way out of a paper bag, as they would say in English. And the real moment where I said this is different came when I met a fashion photographer from Spain. His name is Jose Aragon. And I could draw for the first time some of the things that were in my head. Not perfectly, but what happened was I asked him, can you make me a flamenco dancer who is an android and is albino? And we started from that point, and he said, show me a few sketches. Before AI, no way, maybe a few stick sketches. But I could get very close to what was in my head, and then we could collaborate. And so actually the true magic, the unlock, wasn't so much what AI could do to help me make a finished product. It was the way that I could collaborate at a much higher level with someone in a different creative field.
Great, thank you. Very different moments, and I guess this is exactly where we are starting today. Harry, let's step inside a real production. Not a theoretical case study, but a specific project. So walk us through what your pipeline actually looks like today, and in your actual production, how drastically has the team structure or the cost really changed compared to traditional methods?
Actually, in traditional production, we usually divide the process into 3 steps: pre-production, production, and post-production. And in that system, VFX, computer graphic, is usually treated as a separate area that mostly belong to post-production. But for small production and companies like me, this created a very clear limitation. If you want to make something with digital character or fantasy elements or strong genre visuals, it was very difficult to me. It cost too much. So even if you had a strong script, it was hard to prove what the final result would be. So at MOA AI Studio, we work in a different way. We do not treat VFX as something that only happens at the end. We observe that function much earlier into pipeline. So already in pre-production, we can predict much more clearly how a script may look on screen. And during production, we can already do things that in the past would have waited until post-production. We don't have to wait till for the result. In Korea now, it is no longer enough to bring only a script. You also need to bring pre-visual and visual references and sample footage. You need to show actors, investors, and partners what the project can actually feel like. For me, that is a major change. So in the past, smaller studios had to persuade people with just text and explanation or bubble pitch. But now we can persuade people with visualization, exact visualization. So AI is not only reduction cost, it is transforming that the way we plan, produce, direct, and convince people, I think.
Great, thank you. Gita, we just heard those changes on the production floor, and I'd like to hear your view on how these efficiencies change the power dynamics, and how do you see this affecting creative control on your view?
I think one of the most important aspects of this is all of those components on around efficiency, save time, and save money. And what Harry said is correct. When you as a creator have the option of taking control over understanding what your budget is like or what your schedule is like, and not having to pay thousands of dollars to get that budget made or to get that schedule made, but you can do it in a matter of hours, you understand the creative cuts and where they have to be when you need to talk to your investor and say, yes, I can make this movie for $10 million. Here's my plan, and here's my budget. There's a confidence level that investors and studios now have because the creator is part of the process of making that budget, of making that schedule. That is really hard to do when it had to be done by a line producer outside within a studio. You're in an echo chamber. So for us, it was really helpful to understand, well, if we needed to get that budget down to a certain price point, we could actually talk through the creative on how to actually do that. Now, even in post-production, what happens is in production, you might spend a lot of money and then realize, we'll save it and fix it in post. Well, when you get to post, as most filmmakers know, there's a shortage of money, a shortage of time, and there's a pressure to deliver that film. Now, with these AI tools, we can close that gap easier and try to get to the finish line with a much better polished version of that film than if we didn't have those AI tools. So efficiency, cost savings are huge right now when you're trying to especially make an independent film.
Thank you. John, I see you're nodding a lot. I know that you watch a lot of AI films as a founder of the festival. And when you hear about the level of team compression and the efficiency, what's the first question or perspective that comes to your mind?
Excuse me. Well, one of the myths that I hope to break today is that you're going to have somebody with a laptop who makes a wonderful cinematic film in a weekend that moves massive audiences. That's a bit like winning the lottery. The mathematics says maybe it will happen. Most likely it won't. When I look at these teams of 5, 8, or 10 people who can do the work of what used to take 200, on the one hand you say, oh wow, that's amazing. But one of the important things is that they better be the right 5, 8, or 10 people. And those people are still going to be expensive. Those people are still going to need management. And by that I mean be able to work together. And so your complexity has not been eliminated. Your complexity has changed in its position. And so what is best about AI is, can it solve the complexity that costs a lot of money, that the audience doesn't care about, that is something that will slow down your film, and give you the freedom as a creator to focus on the complexity that matters. How do I tell a story about what is it to be human? Where do we fit in the world, and how should we treat each other? That's the complexity we want to focus on. We want that work. We don't want the work of how do I balance my audio levels so it sounds good. So that's where I'd look at teams.
Thank you. That brings me to the core question that I keep returning to, and the great film is more than just visuals, right? It reflects a clear human perspectives. And can AI actually have a point of view, or does it simply reflect the biases of whatever data it was based on? So I'd like to ask, in 30 seconds, give me your view on this.
30 seconds. So, what do you think? For me, my AI filmmaking vision is very clear. With AI, not by AI. Yes.
With AI. Thank you. Gita.
Yeah, I feel I'm coming in with a creative vision and inputting my particular ideas within that system, and it's enhancing where I started from. But it's not dominating my vision. I'm taking control over that creative vision. Now, are there filmmakers that want to just put into a prompt something and deliver something out? I always say junk in, junk out. So it works where it depends on where you're starting from. If you are a strong storyteller, you can use your components of AI tools to enhance what you're doing. But if you are not a storyteller, what are you going to create? You still need a strong foundation to create a story in a film. John is absolutely right. You're not going to be able to make the next big, amazing Academy Award film or blockbuster by putting prompts in and just assuming it's going to come out the right way.
Right.
You actually need real storytellers that have experience and have succeeded in telling those stories to be able to make a strong film still.
Thank you, John.
Van Gogh cut off his ear. Human storytellers will sacrifice for their vision. They will fight for it. AI will agree with you. That is the difference. So it does not have a point of view because it's not willing to advocate for its point of view and will not fight for its point of view. Ask anyone here. We've been in those meetings where you know you have to fight for what you want to achieve.
Okay. You want to add?
I'd like to add a more technical point. In filmmaking, we already use many tools. For example, Avid, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, right? But we don't call a film a DaVinci film or Adobe Premiere film, just film, right? So the point of view comes from the filmmaker, not from the software. So for me, I think AI is exactly the same. AI is a very, very powerful and efficient tool, but it does not carry intention by itself, I think. So it does not carry emotion by itself. Everything film is come from storytelling and human being. That is my additional thing.
Great, thank you. Let's go into a little bit about business. Gita, let's talk about the business underneath the creativity. The traditional film industry concentrated power in a very specific way. The studios decided what got made, and then the distributors decided what got seen. And the creators ended up at the very bottom of the food chain, basically. You've navigated the exact system, and what is actually changing today, and where does the true leverage live now, in your perspective?
Well, let me start at the point of I've been working and making movies for 22 years. I started as a doc filmmaker and then moved into narrative films, and my specialty is based on true stories and putting it into commercial genres so global audiences can experience them. Trying to make period movies is next to impossible right now in Hollywood. Trying to make a drama is next to impossible right now, because when you're trying to look at the economics of filmmaking, dramas are hard to compete with the next horror movie or the next big comedy. So if the algorithm that Netflix has or Amazon has doesn't add up to what you're trying to make, you will live in a basically hellish period of fighting an uphill battle for years to try to get your movie made. We had an idea for an animated film that we loved, and we thought this would be a global hit. We need to figure out how to get into the doors of a Pixar or a DreamWorks or Imagination to try to get in there to pitch our movie and to try to figure out how to make this animated movie. It was impossible. And thanks to AI capabilities, we were able to take control of that idea and to create with, as John said, extremely talented people that understand the technology space to create something that will be able to compete with Pixar and DreamWorks, but we have full creative control over that.
Right.
That is the power of filmmaking. Now, those animated films cost around $75 million, $150 million, $200 million with 600 to 1,000 people working on them. Imagine being able to do that under $15 million with maybe 30 to 50 people working on it. The economics are incredible. To be able to create as an independent and have full control, the barrier to entry now doesn't exist.
Great, thank you. Looking at these global differences, Japan has one of the richest IP ecosystems in the world, anime, manga, games, and film. I'd like to ask Harry, these are assets the world has consumed for decades, and yet the platforms that carry Japanese stories were not built here. So do you think AI changes the dynamic, or does it reinforce existing structures? From your perspective, working in Korea and beyond.
Right now, I think AI power is mainly concentrated in the United States and China. I don't want to deny that. Because many of AI generating tools we use every day also comes from United States and China. So I think we need to acknowledge that honestly. But at the same time, when these tools create excitement, they often do so through Japanese IP. For example, when people talk about sea dance from ByteDance, what excites them is not only the technical performance, it is also possibility of seeing familiar character, familiar visual culture, and familiar storytelling language appearing on new font. For example, Doraemon, Dragon Ball, yeah, something like that. The same happened with Sora. Many people were very happy when they saw images that looks like Miyazaki-style animation, right? But that emotional power didn't come from AI alone. It came from Japanese IP, I believe, Japanese aesthetic, and the culture memory people already they have. So I think this point is very, very important. AI itself has not yet created many truly beloved original IPs because it just started. What people are reacting to in many cases is still pre-existing culture, pre-existing IP, and emotional recognition, like Japanese manga and movie and films. Also, when people discover that something was made with AI, some of them still reacting by saying, "Oh, I was fooled. This is AI." It happens. That tells us something important. People are not only evaluating the final result. They are also evaluating intention, process, and authorship, I think.
All right, thank you. Do you want to add, John? Or
I can't hear.
we have to beat the panel behind us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I'd like to actually move on to the future of AI films now, because of the time. I'm going to try to speak louder. There's a lot of talk about finding the next Netflix, and from your perspective, is that even the right goal for this new era? John?
Okay. In media and entertainment has only two ways of creating value: storytelling and distribution. Everything else is a cost. When we think about distribution, that is about who is the audience, where is the audience, how do we want to reach the audience, what's going to make them want to pay, either with money or with their time. On the storytelling side, that works too, where we want to know what is the story, who are the characters, what kind of story world did we build, and how we want to reach them. So Netflix actually worked on both sides of that. They worked on distribution and then they worked on storytelling. So for people who are making IPs, they need to be looking at those questions almost like they're taking an X-ray of the situation. So that's what I think.
Great, thank you. Gita, if you would like to add anything? Yeah, sure.
Actually, global OTT platform is very close to using AI to the drama and film still. But actually, Korea has an exception. Netflix Korea and have a AI portfolio film in their drama. So now Moam and I are working on some AI VFX test on the Korean Netflix original. So compared to Netflix Global, Netflix Korea is very open to use AI VFX.
Cool, thank you. And what is the single biggest thing, and this is for all of you, single biggest thing about today's AI film landscape that you think most people in this room are getting completely wrong? So I'd like to hear from all of you.
I think one of the big things that there's a misconception on is that AI will just, as John said, make your movie on its own, and you no longer need storytellers. An end-to-end basic interface. That's not possible. You still need, if you're going to make anything of quality, you need the filmmakers. Now, are you going to need as many filmmakers? No. But you're going to need really great filmmakers. So when we look at where we are in the industry and our job specifically as screenwriters and film directors, we always look to say, how can we be the best of our craft? Because if you're the best of your craft, they're still going to need you. They're still going to need you with all of the AI tools that exist. But if you're just okay and you haven't honed your skills, you're not going to be able to compete, and you're not going to be able to get that next job. Trying to land a job in Hollywood within a studio is so hard. So if you're able to compete at a level and still use the AI tools, you become a super powerful screenwriter. You become a super powerful film director. AI is not going to replace you, but it is going to replace a lot of jobs.
Thank you. I think your message is very coherent from the past messages. Yeah, John.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question,
yes,
please?
Yes, of course. What is the single thing that you think people in the room might be thinking completely wrong about the AI or AI films?
Magical thinking, that you will be able to prompt a masterpiece. As a film festival director, I have seen literally thousands of AI films. And I have had many filmmakers tell me, oh, wow, I did this over the weekend. What do you think? And my first thought is, why should I care? How important is your vision if you think that you can do everything in one weekend? Anyone who's ever tried to make a story and make that story an experience that will truly move people, they know that it takes deep motivation, deep heart, that you should not be satisfied with the first output, that you should show it to other people who say, I like this part, but this doesn't work for me, or this piece of dialogue did not connect. That's how you make your work better. Because if it comes straight out of your head and goes straight onto the screen, and you say, oh, that's good, well, then your taste is average. I'm sorry. That is the truth. People love to talk about creative democracy. That's a common word in English. Oh, AI makes creative democracy. Let me tell you what creative democracy is and is not. Creative democracy means you have the right to make whatever you want to express the vision you have. That is good. Creative democracy does not mean the audience will care about it. You do not have a right to an audience. You have to earn that. You have to put in the work. You have to give the audience something that will move them. That is a discipline, and that is more of a sport than a subject.
Thank you. Harry?
Actually, 4 days ago, I was at France Cannes for world premiere of my AI hybrid film named Gentleloser. It was the first AI feature film premiered in France Cannes. But after world premiere, I was really happy when I get questions from the audience and press that what was your intention, what was your purpose and message from movie? Because when I show my AI film to the audience, they always ask me like, oh, what kind of tool you use? Oh, what kind of AI is most efficient to you? That kind of question is always very common to me. But I was really happy at Cannes. People don't care about what kind of tool I use, but the story. So that is the most memorable moment staying Cannes.
Great, thank you. I think the message here is very coherent among three of us. Now that our time is pressing, I'd like to do a little bit of rapid fire, so please keep this very short. To Gita, the business model in the AI film that doesn't exist yet, but absolutely should if there is anything that you can think of.
Just what the business model should be? I mean, the business model in Hollywood is broken right now, so anything is better in terms of trying to make films that are lower price point is going to be the key. So really navigating how we can manage that through using more tools is going to be the key to that.
Great, thank you. John, the most surprising thing you've seen come through the Seattle AI Film Festival, and I mean, if it's confidential, you don't have to say the name, but if there's anything.
The big surprise has been how simultaneous and global this process is. I get samurai dramas from Kazakhstan sent to us. That's real. We get everywhere this is happening. It used to be that all roads came to Hollywood or New York or Tokyo. Now all roads are going everywhere, and the creativity is happening all over the world. So that has been the biggest surprise.
It's great to hear. Harry, the AI tool that changed your process more than any other. You probably said you don't want that question like that, but if there's any.
Yeah, actually, there's many tools I already use, but for me, every single AI tool is more like my steps. So when I make some specific scenes, I use almost every single tools and to beat to make the best part. So it depends on scene and the genre. And for me, the most hardest thing to use and pick the AI tool is subscription fee and token. Because of the, maybe Japan is, Korea is same, but because of currency, the US dollar is very high compared to Korean won and Japanese yen. So I always told my AI filmmakers to don't do gacha for making some footage or image. So we have to be very careful and to make some specific scene. So that is most hardest part for me for the production because of the AI is not a magic because we have to pay every single cut and image, and it's all about money. Yes.
Right. All right. Thank you so much. I think we have to wrap up the rapid fire round. So this actually close up our questions to the panelists. And before we close, let me take a step back. What we've heard today is not one clear answer, but multiple perspectives on the space. This is still being defined. And for those of you in this room as creators, investors, business people, and partners, discuss today, this is not a distant future for all of us. And it is something that is already taking shape. So if anything we discussed today resonated with you, I hope this conversation continues during the network session after. We are going to stay around after the session. And I think there are a lot of things that we would have wanted to say and elaborate on our questions. So please stay if you have any questions for us. And yeah, we really value the chance to continue this conversation here. So Harry, Gita, and John, thank you so much for a wonderful panel. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And with that, I'd like to invite back Kurimoto-san on stage. Yes.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Sumire-san. And thank you, Harry, Gita, and John. Thanks so much. And today we made one thing clear. AI is lowering barriers and exploding who get to create and how fast the idea can move. This shift is just getting started. If you want to stay close to it, mark this date. We are organizing second edition of AI Film Festival Japan this November on November 3rd at Tokyo Innovation Base. So just watch the trailer for that.
Welcome to the AI Film Festival Japan 2026, the largest AI film festival in Asia, drawing global attention. This event, where human and AI co-creation advances cinematic culture, is set for November 2026 with a pre-event in April. Our social mission is to establish Japan as a global hub for AI film culture. Our mission focuses on supporting young AI creators and promoting diversity. We aim to pursue artistic and social value through co-creation and present new ethical challenges. The first AI Film Festival in Japan in 2025 was a legend. We received 430 total submissions from 45 countries, had over 800 attendees, and held 140 screenings. This event was covered by 12 domestic and international media outlets. Achieve peak branding as a company that embodies the future. Gain an innovative image by supporting the frontier of AI, expressing, quote, progressiveness and, quote, innovation. Ensure massive exposure through broad media coverage and collaboration with the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. The AI Film Festival Japan is an official partner event of Sushi Tech Tokyo 2026, offering overwhelming year-round exposure. The event starts in April 2026 with detailed planning and community building, targeting business audiences, Gen Z, and creators. Leverage Sushi Tech Tokyo's momentum, which includes over 50,000 participants, 500 plus exhibitors, and a global reach of 100 countries. Integrate your brand and AI film content into this vast ecosystem.
In July to August 2026, we will open applications and adjust with sponsors and investors. The main event will be held in November 2026, including the second AI Film Festival and the Tokyo AI Film Market, targeting the global AI community. We offer 4 premium plans optimized for your needs: Platinum, Gold, Recommended, Silver, and Bronze. Each plan provides various benefits, including speaking slots, logo exposure, booth space, and event tickets. The Platinum Partnership offers the full experience, including keynote speech hosting or a panel discussion on the main stage. Platinum partners also receive a 30-second official commercial screening, VIP reception invitations, and 100 invitation tickets. Plant your flag in the uncultivated field of AI. Supporting this festival is like investing in the early days of cinema or the dawn of the internet. Join us in forging a new history of film culture.
Thank you so much, and see you all next edition of AI Film Festival Japan on November 3rd at the Tokyo Innovation Base. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's give a round of applause to our wonderful speakers. Thank you so much for your insightful conversation. Please step over to the connective space right near the stage. You will be able